Every city has its ghosts. But Nashville's don't just linger in graveyards or abandoned mansions. They walk among us, through alleys, into honky-tonks, beneath the streets themselves. The living come here for neon, whiskey, and music. The dead, they come for the same reasons. Down here, spirits don't always rest. Some stay to watch over the churches and bars they loved in life. Some linger where they died suddenly and tragically. And others, they just refuse to leave the party. So tonight, we'll follow their footsteps, from the shadows of Printer's Alley to the grandeur of Union Station. From the mother church of country music to the neon-lit bars on Broadway. And finally, beneath it all, into the tunnels carved through Nashville's underworld. This is Haunted Nashville, the dark side of Music City. Printer's Alley has always had two sides. By day, it was the hub of Nashville's publishing industry. Presses clattering, ink-stained men carrying papers, the hum of machines filling the narrow lane. But by night, the alley became something else entirely. During Prohibition, this was Nashville's underworld. Behind unmarked doors, hidden clubs pulsed with music. Jazz bands swung. Bootleg whiskey flowed through tunnels beneath your feet. Politicians and preachers rubbed shoulders, gambling over cards in smoke-filled rooms so thick you couldn't see the man across the table sometimes. And often, the night ended in a fight or even a gunshot. Not everyone who came here made it home. One ghostly resident is remembered by name, David Skull Schulman. For decades, Skull was the face of Printer's Alley. He ran Skull's Rainbow Room, a burlesque club that became a legend. But in 1998, Skull's life ended violently. Murdered in his office, his throat slit, his skull fractured. Since then, people swear he's never left. Some locals say you can still see his shadow pacing near the Rainbow Room's door, or catch the glow of a phantom cigarette ember floating midair before it vanishes. And Skull isn't alone. Others swear they see him walking with a little white poodle, Sweetie, his beloved companion. Others insist Skull's ghost always returns to his favorite bar stool, the second to last at the bar. Bartenders even find glasses set out in front of that stool after closing, as if someone had been drinking there, unseen. Printer's Alley is also haunted by Joseph Ice Johnson, who ran the Southern Turf Saloon a century earlier. When Prohibition forced it to close, Ice couldn't bear to leave. He shot himself in his apartment upstairs. Soon after, his shadow appeared in the saloon's windows, terrifying the staff. Even today, people claim to see a figure flickering in the third-floor glass. And then there's One-Eyed Annie. Local legend says she was a woman who lost her eye, perhaps in a bar fight, perhaps to something darker. Now her ghost wanders the alley, searching for what she's lost. Tourists have claimed they felt a hand grip their shoulder, only to spin around and find nothing. One woman caught a photo of a shadow against the wall, darker than black, and shaped like someone who really wasn't there. Others describe hearing phantom jazz, trumpets, bass lines, laughter, all drifting from sealed-off basements, as if the party never stopped and the music of 1920s Nashville is still echoing from underground. Stay here after midnight, stand perfectly still, and you'll feel it. The sense that the alley itself is watching you. Printer's Alley has always been alive at night, but not everything here is living. They call it the Mother Church of Country Music. Built in the 1890s by Captain Thomas Ryman, it was meant to save souls, not entertain them. After Ryman's death, the church became a concert hall and home to the Grand Ole Opry, but some say its founder never approved. Captain Ryman's ghost is said to still patrol the balconies. When performances turn bawdy or sinful, his spirit makes his displeasure known. During one infamous opera, Carmen, the audience was startled when thunderous stomping erupted in the balcony, with no one there. The noise grew so intense, the show paused and frightened patrons fled. Ever since, if you hear stomps or heavy boots echoing above, some believe Captain Ryman himself is voicing his disapproval. The Ryman also had a more mysterious resident, the man in gray. He's been seen pacing the upper balcony, slipping between pews after the doors are locked. Some say it's Ryman. Others believe he's an anonymous patron forever stuck in the church pews. Security guards and musicians alike have reported the same thing. A man in gray, silently watching, then gone in a blink. But the most famous ghost here is Hank Williams Sr. Hank was banned from the Opry in life, but in death, his voice keeps sneaking back in. Musicians backstage swear they've heard him humming low, as if tuning up. Sound engineers have reported Hank's songs playing spontaneously through the PA system at night, when it's not even turned on. One late-night crew claimed, "I saw the light" echoed across the empty hall before cutting immediately to silence. Others say you might catch a glimpse of a tall figure in a cowboy hat lurking near the wings. Hank, slipping in for one last forbidden encore. And then there are rumors of Patsy Cline. Staff have reported hearing a woman's voice singing in the darkened hall, or catching sight of a lady in a 1960s dress standing briefly on stage. She too died tragically, leaving only her voice behind. Sit alone in the pews for a moment, and you'll feel it, the sense that you are never truly alone here. Tootsie's Orchid Lounge glows purple on Broadway, and it has always been the rowdy counterbalance to the Ryman sanctity. For decades, Opry stars walked straight out of the Ryman stage door, through this alley, and into Tootsie's back entrance. Some of those stars, they say, are still making this trip. Bootsteps scrape along the bricks when the alley is empty. Laughter rises between the walls, then cuts off suddenly. In 2002, a patron claimed he saw Hank Williams Sr. himself walking down this alley in a cowboy hat. When the man turned back for a second look, Hank had vanished. Inside Tootsie's, things get stranger. Staff have reported lights blacking out, electrical glitches, and even misty figures hovering near the bar. One photograph famously captured a white blur shaped uncannily like Hank standing by the jukebox. But Hank isn't the only one. Tootsie Bess, the Orchid Lounge's founder, is said to still check in on her bar. In life, she was known for her generosity to young musicians. In death, she makes her opinions known by thumping loudly on the bar when the band plays a bad song. Bartenders have heard it. 3 hard knocks coming from nowhere, right when the singer butchers a classic. Some patrons have even felt a tap on the shoulder and turned to find no one there. Mirrors behind the bar sometimes show a short woman smiling back, then gone. And the alley itself remains a conduit. Musicians like Johnny Cash, Patsy Cline, and Hank himself all walked it countless times. Maybe that's why the air here feels so heavy, like you're walking alongside shadows that still want one more round at Tootsie's. Union Station once saw thousands of soldiers depart for war. Thousands of lovers embrace and say goodbye. Some never came back, and one young woman, now known by legend as Abigail, is said to have never left. The story goes that Abigail stood on these platforms during World War II, watching her fiancé leave for Europe. She promised to wait until he returned, but when news came back that he'd been killed, she broke. Heartbroken, Abigail threw herself from the balcony, or into the path of a train. The accounts differ, but ever since, her ghost has wandered the halls in a white gown, veil trailing behind her. Guests describe seeing her blurred figure at the top of the staircase, only to watch her fade away. Others swear they hear soft sobbing in the halls, a woman crying in the night when no one is there. Abigail is said to favor room 711. Guests who stay there have reported everything from phones ringing with no one on the line, to lights flickering on and off, to the sensation of a weight pressing at the foot of the bed as if someone is sitting there. The strangest of all, guests hear footsteps and furniture moving overhead, though there is no floor above room 711. And she's not the only phantom. Staff talk of uniformed soldiers appearing silently in corridors, then vanishing. A security guard once reported hearing boots echoing across the marble lobby at dawn, when the station was empty. Others catch a whiff of cigar smoke, with no smoker nearby, joking that perhaps even Al Capone, who once passed through here, still lingers in the station's shadows. The Union Station Hotel has been polished, restored, and modernized. But in its grand arches and hushed halls, if you stand quietly, you might still hear the hiss of steam, the cry of a train whistle, or the soft weeping of a woman waiting for someone who never came home. Broadway's bars are loud, chaotic, and alive. But some whisper that when the music dies down, not every presence leaves with the last patron. At Legends Corner, there's the story of a musician who collapsed and died mid-song. His name is lost to time, but some believe he never finished his set. Bands claim they felt an unseen hand pluck their strings or watched a microphone shake on its own. A singer once told of her mic stand vibrating so hard she thought the floor was shaking, yet the crowd felt nothing. Bartenders locking up at 3 a.m. describe catching the sight of a cowboy-hatted figure leaning against the wall, watching silently. When they turn to speak, he melts away into the shadows. Other times, a sudden cold draft whips through the bar, chilling them, even on the hottest summer night. Some say the big bar mirror shows faces that aren't really there, figures watching in the reflection, gone if you look at them directly. No one knows who haunts Legends Corner. Maybe it's the ghost of that unfinished set. Maybe it's just the atmosphere fueled by whiskey and late-night stories. But when you're here, and you feel that chill or glimpse a shadow by the stage, you might wonder if Broadway's legends aren't just painted on the walls, but also standing in the room with you. Few visitors know that beneath Broadway's neon is another Nashville, a labyrinth of tunnels, sealed cellars, and forgotten passageways. During Prohibition, these tunnels kept the whiskey flowing. Bootleggers moved barrels through them unseen. Politicians and gangsters slipped into backroom speakeasies through secret doors. Al Capone himself is said to have used them, running liquor from the river straight into Printer's Alley. Most of these tunnels are sealed now, but sealed doesn't mean silent. On quiet nights, people swear they hear laughter and music rising from the grates. A trumpet riff, a piano chord, shouting voices that vanish if you lean closer and listen. Bartenders tell stories of chasing a sound into the stairwell, only to find a solid wall where a tunnel should have been. And then there's the legend of the policeman. In the 1920s, an officer followed bootleggers into the tunnels and never came back. His flashlight was found on the damp floor. His body was never recovered. To this day, people whisper that his ghost still patrols the underground, chasing shadows that no longer exist. Construction crews sometimes stumble on bricked-up arches and hidden rooms. Basements downtown still have locked doors that lead to nowhere. And in those sealed spaces, staff report footsteps on empty stairs or doors swinging open with no one there. They say Nashville's ghosts bar hop just like the living. The only difference? They use the tunnels, and they never have to leave at last call. Broadway belongs to the living, to the dreamers chasing neon, to the musicians playing till the wee hours of the morning. But when the lights dim and the streets empty, the ghosts remain. The preacher who built his church, the soldier who never came home, the musician who never left the stage. The songs may fade, the bars may close, but the ghosts of Nashville, they'll always be here, waiting.